Stevens School District, as well as I think some of the surrounding school districts. I appreciate Mr. Davis from Canyon Fairview being here, Mr. McAfee from Nevada being here, Mr. Moore couldn't be here, but
Mike Waters.
Mr. Watts from Waters is here for Babb. I think Dr. Moore couldn't make it today. We still haven't figured out why Dr. Guest is here in the back there. I think he's watching me to see if I can handle this, since I get to watch him operate every once in a while. So appreciate the opportunity to come and talk. Let me just kind of explain. I came here in October, on October the 14th last year. How many of you were here that time? I knew there was a good crowd here. I knew we'd have even a better crowd tonight. We came and we talked with the Stevens board about the situation in which the Stevens School District had found itself, and we talked about the possibilities and the options, and specifically about where the law was on this. And I'm here tonight. I don't have any options of changing the law for you. I don't have any options of keeping the Stevens School District as it is today, this year, as of June 30th of 2014. By law, the Stevens School District, as it is operating today under the direction of a board of directors of Stevens, can no longer exist. And as I shared with the group in October, the law required that a couple of options were available to the Stevens School District. The school board could and should seek options with other school districts for voluntary consolidation or annexation. And since that time, we anxiously awaited to see if that was going to occur. We asked that the board work diligently to see if that would occur within a time frame that would allow everyone involved to have as much time as possible to make plans for the next school year. So we find ourselves in March, because the deadline in the law was March 1 for the Stevens School District to present the state with a plan of a voluntary annexation or consolidation. Since that has not occurred, the state board now is charged with taking the students from the Stevens School District and making sure that they are placed or put into a situation in which they will be provided an adequate education. The state board at this point has not been a part of this discussion. It will come up at a hearing in April at their board meeting, and will be asked as an agency and as the commissioner to bring a recommendation forward. So what I'm here to do tonight with some staff is to seek some input, to get some ideas as to what the parents and patrons want to see with Stevens School District. But please remember, leaving Stevens School District as it is right now, as an independently operated school district under its own school board, is not a legal option. I don't have that authority. No one in this state has that authority. The governor doesn't. The legislature could have. In the 13th session, there were several bills that were introduced, but none of them were passed to change that law. So we work within the confines of the law, and my job is to ensure that we make the best recommendation to the state board that's possible for the students here. Now, I want to take just a minute to tell you a story of how difficult this is and how difficult it always is every time we have to take the policy of the lawmakers of this state and apply it. I became commissioner in September of 2009. In my first state board meeting in October 2009 as the commissioner, one of the agenda items on our board was to close the Turl School District. Now, how many of you know where Turl, Arkansas is? There's a few of you. Well, I lived the earlier parts of my life in Turl, Arkansas. My father was a school basketball coach there, became the high school principal, and then became the superintendent. When we left there and moved, I remained friends with many people in Turl. Matter of fact, as I worked my way through many different jobs, I've maintained a lot of contact with people from Turl. But the first meeting that I had as Commissioner of Education, because Turl had experienced its third year in that third year being below 350, we had to recommend that those students be moved to another school district. The hard part was, on my way to work that day, my older sister, who had actually gone through junior high, Carol called and was asking some questions about some other things. She was in the school business, and she said, well, what have you got going today? And I said, well, I got a state board meeting today. And she said, oh, wow, your first one. I said, yeah. She said, anything going on at the state board meeting? I said, yeah, Jenny, we got to close Pearl today. And she just started crying. And she said, isn't it a shame that our communities and our state continue to become more rural, and this has happened across the state of Arkansas. So I know what it's like. I've been the superintendent of a school district that had to annex, voluntarily consolidate with a school. I've been a principal of a school that consolidated with another school. And then I've been the commissioner who's had to close a school. I've been a commissioner when the district had to be closed and split up into 6 different parts in order to let those students go to the schools that were closest to them, because it was a very, very rural school district in North Arkansas. So I know the difficulties that face us as a state, you as a school district, you as parents, you as students, staff, and the people of this county, or the counties and surrounding districts. So let me just kind of lay out again. We're not here to debate the law. There's time for that to occur, and the time has passed for this particular situation, and this is not the forum for that. You know, it's not my place to say whether that law is the most appropriate law or not. It is my place to carry forth the laws of the state. What we're here today to try to seek from you are what are some of those options that are available, and what do some of you believe or you think may be the best option for your students, and what can we then bring forward to the state board. I can tell you that sometimes the state board takes our recommendations, sometimes they reject those recommendations, sometimes they modify those recommendations. So I can't guess what the state board will do. And at this point in time, we do not have a final plan. We do not have a plan. There's been a proposal that has been presented. It was actually a copy of it given to us several months ago of 3 districts that are contiguous with this school district. And those 3 districts are represented here today. The other option, of course, is for the state board to consolidate the Stevens district with any of the contiguous districts in this area, wholly or in part. So we're here to hear what your comments may be and input for what's best for your students. I just ask that we remain respectful of one another, be respectful of the opinions that others may have, and please try not to be redundant in our conversations. I know many of you are here to speak and give your input. Many of you are here just to listen. So I hope that we'll remain respectful of each other's opinion and our opportunity to speak. What we would ask is that when you come to speak, if you will give us your name. We would like to record the names of the people and the input that they give in this action, or in what you think is the action that the state board you'd like to see the state board take in regards to the Stevens School District. We don't always, and we've not always been able to do this, but since we did come in October, I thought it was fair to come and get that input from you, and this not just be something that we sit and we rock and decide. But it is something that we have to bring forward to the state board. It's not easy, it's not fun, and I know that the situation is not easy for you. You've got to face some changes, and it's always difficult. So with that, I'll open up, unless any of my staff have any other comments. If not, then I'll open it up. All I'd ask is that if you would raise your hand, Ms. Huey and I will try to make sure that we recognize anyone who wants to come and give their input. We'd like for you to speak into the microphone so that everyone in the auditorium will be able to hear. And again, I think the most amazing part of tonight so far, for me, is to see the turnout of people who are concerned. We want to see what's best for the students in Stevens School District as well as the other school districts in this part of the state. So with that, do I have a first volunteer that would like to come and give us your thoughts about the future for students? And I know at first it's difficult. Yes, sir. And you can come to either microphone.
Thank you. My name is Babb. I have brief comments to make, but let me give you some background before my comments. I graduated from Stevens High School in 1960. I graduated from the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville in 1964 and got a master's degree in 1971. My work experience, El Dorado School District, Pine Bluff School District, Watson Chapel School District. So my schooling was in a small school. My work was in large schools. I've seen both sides of it. And I know from what you said, you have some discretion, not in the law, but in placement. I want to encourage you to not automatically overlook small school settings. Small schools turn out good products. They're assets to the community and to the state, and I think it's worthy of your strong consideration when you make the decision of where to put these students, what's best for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, yes, ma'am.
I too am a product of Stevens. I graduated in 1969. I also taught school here 35.5 years. So this subject is on my heart. And I was just wondering, I was thinking, I know we're not in college, and I thought about how the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville has UAPB as a satellite school. Is it possible for us to do something like that with somebody else, not in the neighboring vicinities? So take over, help us with our state, our school. Also, I'm concerned about, I was thinking about Waldo and McNeil and Walker. Those schools were less than 10 miles from Magnolia. Our children will have to be bused 20 miles straight shot if we go to Camden, 17 miles to Magnolia, and probably something like that to Nevada or wherever. But those are things that are weighing on my mind about our school. I even thought about, could we take K through 12 and put them here? Somebody else, you said we can't use our board, and somebody else would be over them. And I thought I just lost it. But I've had so many, as you can see. Oh, my name is Sarah Todd, by the way.
Thank you, Ms. Todd. We quickly answered the question. That has been asked before. If you remember 2 or 3 years ago, the Wiener School District was in a very similar situation. Well, it was in the exact same situation. And they brought forward a consolidation proposal to consolidate the lot. I think it was 180 miles apart. The state board did not think that was in the best interest, but that was a long way, distance-wise. At that time, state board looked at it, took, of course, information from both sides and make the decision that that was not in the best interest of those students at Wiener. I think that option for Stevens is now passed because that would have required that another district and this district's board of directors agree to that voluntary consolidation. Who's next? Who would like to go next? Yes, ma'am.
I'm short, so I have to reach. My name is Marjie Blair. I graduated from McNeil High School, and I got a really good education there, and I appreciate this small school. However, we're at a place now that we need a really good education for our children, and that's what we all need to consider. I support the proposal that we made, or we saw the proposal where the Columbia County children go to Magnolia, Washita children go to Camden, and the Beatty County children go to the Beatty County School. There were some other possibilities. I think all of those superintendents have agreed to that proposal, and I think that's a good choice. And in the interest of time, I would just ask the people who support that to please stand.
Who would be next?
For those who don't know me, I'm Harry Brown. I'm the mayor of Stevens. And I stand before you this evening not only as a concerned citizen, but because I'm considered the leader in this community. We need our students. For several years, the city of Stevens has suffered because of the lack of employment, just like any other small town. And because of state mandates or legislative mandates that are pushed on cities without funding, cities tend to suffer. And so do schools. But because we've worked hard since I've become mayor to put some things in place to help the city grow, start back growing, we've managed to make some strides. But closing the school is going to put us back to square one or two. Because the housing here was at an all-time low. In the last couple of years, the price of housing has begun to come up. To close the school, it's going to go back down again. A lot of you that's here, just like me, are graduates of this school. You went here, and your parents went here. All my siblings went here. Stevens is a good school. Stevens is a good town. And we need to hold on to our schools as much as possible. I understand that is not an option as far as the school board is concerned. But as far as the building, because another thing that happens, when you close a school, it becomes a crack house in most areas. Everybody wants to close schools, but nobody has any answers for the buildings after they close. You've got a school in McNeil, there's a school in Walker, there's a school in Waldo, what's left of it, all that they didn't burn down. And there's other areas. And we're busy, the state, to me, has gotten their ideas wrong. We close the schools and open jails. At the rate we're going, in another 10 years, we'll have more jails than we have schools. Every county has got a jail already. Some of them got jails plus private jails, plus state penitentiaries. Well, you add all that up, and that's getting up close to 100 or better jails. Well, at the rate we're going, we're gonna be less than 100 schools if we keep closing. We take Bibles away from kids when they come to school, but we give them to them when they go to jail. And then we wonder what's wrong with society. We have got to have an answer to our problem other than just closing schools. We ship our children for 20 miles. They're asleep when they get on the bus. They just woke up when they get off. And we expect them to be able to go in the classroom and learn. Then, at the end of the day, they sleep all the way home. And then they get off the bus and they don't want to do anything. Something's wrong with that picture. I don't have the answer. And closing the school is not the answer. Amen. So let's work together to find an answer that works. To find an answer that keeps our children at home. Let's find an answer to keep not only our children at home, but our young adults at home. Because at some point or another, when you take jobs away from Stevens, that's just like closing the factory down. There's more people that's going to be driving other places to work. And that's part of what Arkansas' problem, especially in South Arkansas. Because somehow or another, and I don't know why, but over the last 10 years, it seemed like the Arkansas state line stops at the Arkansas River. Nothing comes this way. Everything goes to North Arkansas. And that's where I don't understand that's where all the people are flocking to, but who wouldn't flock to where the money is? But at the same time, these people in South Arkansas have got to leave. And taking our jobs, taking our schools, and all of that does not help anyone. So if you would, please, let's come up with an answer other than just closing the school. Thank you.
Policy issues facing the state. I said East and South Arkansas, what we do for education is still an issue. It's an issue that we're struggling with. We don't know the complete answer. We don't have all the solutions. But I appreciate your work. Stay strong. We'll go here, and then we'll go to the gentleman in the blue shirt next. Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Henry Warren. I'm here to represent the city of McNeil. As Mayor Brown stated, we don't need to close our schools. We've already gone through that in the city of McNeil. 10 years ago, we had the same opportunity to consolidate or annex with somebody, and we did. We trusted our school board, we trusted our superintendents to make a decision that was best for the city of McNeil. And since that time, a lot of people haven't liked that decision. I wish we had the turnout then that we do now. I wish people were concerned then like you are now. Like Dr. Kimbrell has said, probably that ship has sailed as far as us fixing the problem right now, like we can see. But I just want to talk to you about what's best for our kids. We had this situation 10 years ago. We came to McNeil to Stevens. Here we are 10 years later, having to make that same decision again. Who is to say 10 years from now we have to make that same decision again? I don't want to keep
keep on having to go through the support our schools. Hopefully, a decision will be made where we can keep the Stevens School. Hopefully. But that's not gonna come from us. We've lost our chance to do that. So just let's pray that whatever happens is best for the students. And not worry about ours, what's going on with us. Because I don't have a child that go to school in Stevens. My child, my granddaughter, she don't go to school, she goes to school in Little Rock. But I have grandkids that go to school in Magnolia. I support Magnolia. I do most of my shopping in Magnolia. You do whatever you do, you're going to have to continue to do what you do. But let's not leave here tonight mad because what Dr. Kimbrell got to do. We've had opportunity. We've had opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Kind words. Appreciate that. People don't leave mad. Usually when I come to these, people leave mad. They come up with a sign. Mr. Kimbrell's sorry he is. Yes, sir.
I'm John Blair, graduate of McNeil High School in 1959. We received a great education in McNeil. I agree with what my friend Harry Brown here says and what our mayor in McNeil says, that 10 years ago, we had an opportunity. And the majority of the people in McNeil thought that they were taking the best opportunity that we had. I'm like our mayor, that he made the comment that we wish we'd have had this much enthusiasm and interest in what we were doing at that time. But people, the deal that we cut with Stevens has crippled McNeil to the point that I don't know if we'll ever get back. We've lost 100 households in McNeil, Arkansas. 100 in the 10 years. We've got a bond issue down there trying to pay off sewer bonds, and we can't meet those. Because when you take the minimum bill out of that, that's $31 a month. That's 100 households. It's $3,100. It comes right off the amount of money that we've got coming into our little city to take care of our bond issue. We've had to cut back on what we pay. Is that not correct, Mayor? We had to cut back on that because we can't meet that. And a lot of it is on account of the school situation. Lots of people have flocked from McNeil to Magnolia. If you think that McNeil's not got a lot of people living over there, go to Smith Street and McNeil Street and you'll see how many have moved over. It's time that we did something, and I've heard this 20-mile business of hauling kids. Well, you move them out of the edge of Cotton Belt area over there, and we got kids that ride the bus till after 5 o'clock to get them back home to our place in McNeil, Arkansas from right here. If we sent them to Camden, that would be 50 miles, and some of these kids would be riding for us. And that state law won't even allow that, I don't believe. It's pretty close to the breaking point. But we are sending $750,000 of Columbia County money up here in taxes to pay for the school system that has let us down. We have given away, basically. We sold our school building. We didn't get anything out of it. We wanted our trophies that we worked for back when I was in school and all that. They all disappeared. The building, when it came along, we pulled the air conditioning units out, and a bunch of that stuff wound up in the dump, in the scrap iron pile, and a lot of us would have liked to have some of it. Well, the south side school is falling down now. There's been a deal made by our school board at Stevens that allowed somebody to assume that, and they hadn't even cut the grass in years. It's pitiful of what McNeil's been put through. We should, and that's the reason that we're here tonight. We're here tonight to get our kids back in our county, get our tax money back in our county. We're sending money to this county, and if my mind serves me right, I'm getting to be an old man, and I served as county judge and sheriff, so that makes a difference in my memory, you know. I'm 70-something years old, and I don't remember quite as well, but our kids came up here, and we lowered Stevens's tax millage. We raised mine in McNeil, Arkansas. We voted that in and got it passed, and I just think that the time has come that this has got to be handled by the state board, that it needs to be handled according to this proposal. I mean, Magnolia's willing, Camden's willing, Nevada County's willing, and as far as I'm concerned, I think that would be something that would be a workable situation with all three school districts. And I feel like that they would all do a good job for each child from that area. We have tried since last fall to get on the agenda to discuss some of these things that our mayor's talking about, and he even tried. We have not been allowed by this school board, which two of the members are community leaders in our part of the county. We've tried to get on the agenda to discuss this with them, and we hadn't been done anything, turned away each and every time. That's documented, folks. That is emails and calls and things. But I think it's time to do what's right for our kids and get us back home and get our tax money back home. I thank you for your time. Let's hear from Matt Lewis.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, I'll get to you next. Try.
Thank you. I'm in Murphy, Texas. So this is my wildest dream. Why am I here? My good friend this year called me and said, I need your help. Come up and teach class. When I walked in November 11th, I knew I'm not going to leave alone. I called my wife at lunch and said, I'll probably be home by 9 o'clock tonight. I can't deal with it. It's March 17th. I'm still here. Going to Camden, I'm a graduate from Camden High School. Okay? 1976. Okay? My good friend Fred Lilly is here. Okay? I went through the same thing when I was 6th grade at Nelson Elementary School. I was geared to go to the mighty Lincoln Tigers. And we got that letter saying, no, we're going to Camden High School. Mr. Garrison was our superintendent. I thought he was our principal because he was in school so much because we had so many problems. We have good students here at Steve, but we have bad students too. These kids will not survive Camden, they will not survive Magnolia, and they will not survive Maine. I'm a praying. I'm praying that in the 19th hour that you and your administration come up with something. Stephen is home for these kids. Notice I'm not talking about Stephen kids, I'm talking about McNeil kids. I have McNeil kids in my class too. I have Stephen kids. These kids are hungry for knowledge. They're hungry for love. If we bust these kids anywhere but Stephen, we're wrong. At the end of the day, I'm getting in my truck, I'm going back to Murphy, Texas, okay? I just want what's right for these students. Good student. I know about Mr. Davis from Kimbrell, okay? He was there at the same time I was there. So I'm going to issue a personal challenge to him and to Mr. Willard too. Work out something. Do something. It's not too late. Our kids are good. I'm saying our kids, but my heart's in Texas. We've got to save these kids. We got to. Because if we don't, when I graduated from 76, I look back at my elementary school. We had 28 kids in the elementary school. Only 3 out of my class went to college. 3 all got bachelor's degree. All 3 got master's degree. Fred and Mr. Davis knew him, Phyllis Lockhart, Phyllis Watkins, George Neal, myself, and Cecilia Brown Lockhart. Those 2 work in the school system. The other 25, we lost them. And you know, when I see them now, they talk about what could have happened if we had been given an opportunity to go to Lincoln. Make it happen. Keep these kids. Thank you.
Somewhere where they're willing to perform. Because I feel like if they're sent to a bigger school, somewhere they don't want to be, they're not going to perform to the best of their abilities. So let's also take that into consideration when we're making these decisions about what to do with this school system. I don't feel like busing them to Magnolia is the answer. I don't feel like busing them to Camden is the answer. Nor do I feel like busing them to Nevada is the answer. I think keeping them here where they want to be, finding people that really are concerned about the education, for one, would be the best thing. And we will turn out some of these numbers that we're going to see on these state exams that these children are taking. I, for one, I work, I'm a working mother, I have a career, and granted I came out of Fairview, but there's things that these kids want. You need to push them. Let them know that they can achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve. And by taking something from them where they want to be as far as the school system goes, I want to see what turns out after you've done that. So let's really take that into consideration when you make your decision on whether or not to close the doors on this school. Thank you.
And then we'll go to the back. Okay, we'll take him and then this lady in the back. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Porchia. I'm a graduate of Stevens High School. I've been here in this community pretty much all my life. I didn't want to come here when I first came here, but back in the day when they decided that they needed to do some changes, I was told that I was going to have to come to Stevens School District and go to school. I didn't have a choice. And I came and I made the best of it. And this has been the best thing that ever happened to me. I not only graduated from Stevens High School, but after spending the time that I did in the military and law enforcement, I came back here to Stevens to work. And a lot of people talk about the kids and what it takes for the kids, and I heard some talk about their town and what's leaving their town and about the dollars. How can you put a dollar value on the life of a child and what's better for them? I can't see putting a dollar value on that. I remember I was here working, and that's another thing I would like to ask parents. How many, some of the people that want to see this change made, how many of you come to schools every day and see the children interact with one another? How many of you walk around to the classroom and see them interact with their teachers. Well, I did it for 10 years. I watched these children work and grow together. The McNeil children and the Stevens children. They came together as one. And they're one body right now. And they love each other. And they don't want that to change. How do I know? Because I spent time here as a resource officer. I remember when they first came together, they fought like cats and dogs. And don't think that that's going to change. If they go to Camden, Fairview, or Debate, or any other place, you're going to have trouble on your hands. I spent a lot of time breaking up fights and trying to get kids to get along with one another. But I thank God that I had the Lord in my heart. I've been a minister now for going on 20 years. I've been preaching the gospel. And I tried my best to instill my values in them, and many of them listened to what I had to say to them. And I believe I made a big difference in a lot of them lives. And they changed for the better. And I see it in them, and I still see it in even some of those that have graduated. They come back to me and they tell me, Mr. Porchia, I thank you for what you've done for me. I thank you for the difference that you made in my life. And it didn't make me any difference if they came from Fairview, if they came from Stevens High School, or if they came from McNeil. I treated all of them the same. And I let them know from the beginning that we all had to come together as one. We was one body. We was one school district. And we was going to make this thing work together. And that's what they done. And when they saw that, you could not beat those kids running up and down the floor having fun together. And they generally love each other. And all they want is someone to embrace them. And I still, right now, I'm retired. I'm disabled. And I still come out here every single day. And I spend my time talking to these children. How many of you go to a school district just to tell children, hey, I love you? I still come to this school and I tell kids I love them every single day. I embrace them. I ask them, are you having problems? Is there anything I can help you with? Are you having problems at home? Do you need someone to talk to? People told me I was crazy because I put my cell phone number and my home phone number and my church phone number on cards and passed it out to the students and said, if you ever have any problem, I don't care where you are, I don't care what time of night it is, call me. And my wife and I will come and see about you. That's what it's all about. It is not about a dollar sign. It's about what's in these children's heart. And it's about them making it. Because let me tell you something, Stevens might be a small town, but I tell you what, a lot of doctors, lawyers, school teachers, and a whole lot of other people have come from right here in this community. And guess what? We have the faculty here right now to continue to produce that kind of people, those kind of people. All we need is time. And I guarantee you we'll get there because I'm still going to volunteer all the time I can to this school district. As long as the Lord continues to keep me healthy, I'm going to give my time to the Stevens School District. Bless you.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been here all my life, like Mr. Bruce was saying. He and I meet up heads here every day, Bruce, because I bring my daughter a lunch. I'm a single parent. She's a Mu Alpha Theta. She's in the Beta Club. She's an honor student. And she is great potentials here at Stevens High. Come out here. I've been going through this for 12 years. She's 11, junior this year. Come out here. Stevens needs to stay here. You know, this man was getting up talking, McNeil, come here, you losing dollars. You don't think about dollars. You think about these children. You losing, that was 10 years ago. That's way in the past. You can't get that back. I was 30 long years ago, I can't get that back. These way hair wasn't in my head 30 years ago. I want it black again. The only thing I can do is die. I can't get that back. I can't get all these extra pains out of my body. You know, we think about these children. You know, we think, we came to Stevens. I was promised this. I was promised that. The governor promised us a lot of things. Are we going to go up there and talk to BB about that? No. Tomorrow. You'll get here, you'll start raising up. Think about the children. We have some smart students. We had 14 children that was in the beta club this year. 14. Now tell me something about these students that here at Stevens. Now, isn't that something, Mr. Kimbrell? That was something, wasn't it? 14. Tell me isn't something in here. Something to think about it. My daughter was one of them. That's all I got to say.
I didn't have these gray hairs either 4.5 years ago. I do want, though, I really do want to remind everybody, you know, it is about what you'd like to see. It is about solutions and not blame. It is about the students. I've had to make some tough recommendations in this 4.5, almost 5 years before long that I've been in this job. And every time I sit down with my staff, I say, okay, let's boil it down to one thing. What's best for students? I told you the story about Turl went to Marion. There are still people in the town of Marion that knew my family back then who still won't talk to me. But let me tell you, I've got people that I still know from Turl, Arkansas, who said it's been the best thing that's ever happened for their kids. They've got better opportunities than they ever had. So I'll tell you, kids are the most resilient thing we have on this earth. And I just tell you, we will make the best decision for kids. We want to hear what your ideas and your thoughts are. We want to hear solutions. And I'm not here to create friction between two communities. I'm not here to give you any solution of Stevens as it is today. In October, I asked this board to find a solution if they could. They weren't able to. And I understand why. These school districts struggle in trying to keep small campuses open. We see it all across our state. It creates situations for local school boards that are difficult decisions to make. But if they are to provide the kind of education that we want our kids to have, my kids to have, they have to have those opportunities made available to them if they're going to compete in the next economy. We've got to give them all those options. So I just want to remind everybody, let's not blame one another. Let's talk about possible solutions. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Nina Anderson. I'm a teacher here at Stevens High School. I am not from any of the schools in question. I'm not from Camden. I went to school in Magnolia, but I don't live in Magnolia. I live in Stamps, Arkansas. I'm not from McNeil. I'm not from Nevada County. I came here in 2006 and did my student teaching. I left, went to Arkansas Strong, came back in 2009, and I've been here ever since. I drive 35 miles every day in the morning. I drive 35 miles every day in the afternoon. Why? He's cute. Now, to me, I know there's a lot of friction, but I'm not part of that friction, so it doesn't bother me as bad. But the main thing that bothers me is that I don't feel you get overlooked. What's gonna happen to our kids if we go to Camden, if we go to Magnolia? There's already 220 people in a class. You take 30 more, you just say half of them go to Magnolia. Those 15 people are gonna outshine the other 220 that's been there the whole life? No. And I respect that comment, I do. But I'm going to talk about our 11th graders. We have we have a hard-working person in every grade. But I'm thinking of one young lady that's in the 11th grade. She has words and words and words. If she consolidates with another school, is she going to be recognized for that? No. Why? You got to be there here. So she won't get that recognition for her hard work. My point is that if there's a way to annex, to combine the board, but give our kids the chance to make it that way, why not try that? Don't let our kids just go in different directions just because we have feuds amongst ourselves. As the teacher, or as a teacher, I think that our students may have issues, but all schools have issues. Our students have strengths, and all schools have strengths. But our students at Stevens High School, I don't care where they're from, or if they're black, green, blue, or purple, they are all intelligent. They all have the ability to do anything they want to do. Give them that chance, don't let them get sidetracked by, we don't want to pay this, or we don't want to bus here, or we don't want to go there. I get it. I get that. I have two sons at home. One is in Lafayette County School District, not because I don't want him to come to Stevens School District, because he's a young child. I used to be the cheerleading coach. I used to travel to every basketball game. It wasn't feasible for me to have him here with me all night long. So I left him there where my grandmother could take care of him in the afternoon. I have a 2-year-old that is in Lafayette County daycare. But I'm still fighting for this school 35 miles away because I care about these kids in this school district. And I think that if we're given the opportunity, even if it is an annexation with administration, I think that is a solution to help our students, not to separate them in 3 or 4 different ways and say, here you go. I think that's what we need to look at. Because at the end of the day, I've been teaching for 7 years, and I love parents, but my students are why I'm here. I love math, and I wish every student was a math person, and we only have 11 of Mu Alpha Theta, but those 11 are the brightest Mu Alpha Theta members that I know because they're my kids. And I take pride in that, and no matter where I go, I'm going to take pride in that. So if it's about the kids and about what is best for our kids, then I think all the other stuff needs to be sidetracked and focus on what is the track that the kids need. What's going to be best for them, what's going to be their best solution. And I don't think that separating them and putting them in a big school is just automatically the solution, because Magnolia and Camden are the biggest schools and the schools to look at around here. I love Magnolia. I don't know anything about Camden, but Stevens is small and Stevens is great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Back.
Myself, I love kids, I have no problem with kids. It's just that we as adults, we send the wrong message sometimes. And, I don't know any kid in this area, in this school, you know, that, I mean, respecting goes a long way when it comes to kids. You have to give respect to give it. And I can remember when my kids were growing up in McNeil, they always said, yes, sir, no, sir, stuff like that. Kids, they don't do that. That's because we didn't teach them that at home. And I see these same kids that they're adults that my kids grew up with, I mean, values, you know. And I meet these same people on the street and they say, yes, sir, no, sir, today. But education, to me, you know, it's a big thing. Everybody's not going to make all A's in school.
That's right.
Everybody's not going to make all A's, everybody's not going to be, but you got some that's going to be slow enough. But I think that kids can adapt to a new environment if they have to. We all adapt if we want to. I mean, that's part of wrong if you have to adapt. And I wish this, you know, this, I'm not here to talk against the school district. I wish it would work, but my thing is I have no problem with what's going on now, but I would like to see if, I'd like to get McNeil kids out now. Now, wait, don't cut me out. I would like to get back, if this school would be here another 10 years, I would be from McNeil staying here. But I mean, you stay another year and you don't get out now, and then you got to do something another year from now, but then you'll get, McNeil kids got to go far. That's my point. I like to see them, you know, the kids somewhere to be one place to stay. About change every 10 or 12 years. Like they say, well, we're going to stay this year, and then next year, at the end of the year, bus them somewhere. I mean, I just rather see it done now than year or two down the road where they're going to adjust to that. Thank you.
My name is Pam Jennings. I'm not from Stevens, but I grew up in a small town. It was 2 square miles, 6 miles from the Georgetown Bridge in Washington, D.C. Not long ago, my brother put a picture on Facebook of us standing in front of the house that my mother lived in from 1961 to 2003, and it was a dirt and gravel road in 1962. I grew up in the same school district in that 2 square mile town. Because we were a much busier area, we had 3 elementary schools and 1 high school. So the people I was in school with in kindergarten, well, I take that back, kindergarten I was somewhere else, but first grade, they were, many of them, the same people I graduated high school with. Now, we had 133 kids in my graduating class, but at Fairfax County High School, they had 650, and that was in 1973. I would ask that when we think about how to utilize the campus, keeping in mind what is in the best interest of the young people who call it home, who call it their school, that we try to look at what the community needs, what type of careers are available for our students, and think about the training that we could give them in high school that would better prepare them for maybe a 2-year technical college. I know from personal conversations with another family member about how the process works to get the wage certificate and the CRC, that so many of the big plants in El Dorado and in Magnolia and all of that area in East Hampton that I call Area 51, they want people who are trained in specific skills. I think that that would be a wonderful use of this campus if we provided very specialized training for the young people that are interested in welding, in electrical work, in plumbing, all those sorts of things that we have such
Richard. I'm a retired teacher here at Stevens. I taught here from 1974 to 94. And I'm going to make mine kind of brief. I think you said that you had two options of wholly or partial annexation, or that we had. Would you repeat that?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Richard. There are actually three options. I mean, I think the board has several options. One would be to wholly consolidate the current school, Stevens School District, with any of the actually four contiguous districts or other districts, or they can do the 2 to 3 to 4 or however they, up to those contiguous districts. I don't think they would do it with any district that wasn't contiguous.
And I understand that you must apply the law, but I have no gripe with that. I guess I'm a little biased because I work here. I went to school at a small school. I've always taught at small schools, and I would love to see our school stay here. And I respect the people from McNeil for your opinion. No gripe there. But I would love to have our school remain here. I know there may be, we've exhausted most of our options, but whatever option we have left, if you would pass those on to the school board, and if they would maybe get a committee to sit in on it and list our options that we have available. And I know there may be very few. I would have liked you to take a message back to Little Rock. The time that I was teaching, almost every year there was new guidelines come down from the State Department of Education. And it's very easy to make those statements up there. My only concern was, and I said this years ago, I wish the people that make the laws would come down in the pits where people are teaching, and then you can see where these laws may or may not be necessary. Sometimes what is good for Pocahontas is not good for Stevens. Sometimes something that's good for Camden may not be good for Smackover. I wish the people in the State Department would spend a little more time, especially in small school areas, and get people true feelings and how they feel about their school. I'm hoping that you would take this message back to Little Rock, and maybe as you all make decisions in the future, it may not help us now, but somewhere along the line, some other school is going to be in the same predicament we in. And if you would just spend some time in Stevens, spend some time in McNeil, spend some time in Debate, these small places, boy, we have some values that I would trade for Little Rock for nothing. I love my small schools, and I have no problem with big schools. But I'm so afraid that if we put them in a large school environment, they're going to get lost in the shuffle. And this is not a knock against large schools. I'm just a little biased, small town country boy. So if at all possible, get with our board, give us this. If we only have two options, give them to us. And let the community, the two communities or three communities that's involved, let them sort of give their opinion on what they would like to see done. And we respect you, and I understand that I'm glad it's your job instead of mine.
This gentleman first, and then we'll come to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kimbrell. Thank you to the school board and everyone who has come here tonight from all districts. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm sitting here with two gentlemen on the front row here. They was a few years ahead of me, but they was all A students plus here at Stevens High. I was barely a C student, and I was proud of it. The duties that you have, as Coach Richard mentioned, is not easy. There's so many loose ends that I have heard tonight, and there's no solid solution. And your purpose here is to try to give a direction, or some directions. I do feel that, personally, that everyone has an agenda. I don't see a team effort like it should be. And a team effort is so important of the school, of any. We have some dedicated people in the education field,
in all districts. This is not the only problem you have in the state. You've got many. But I do feel that closing is not the answer for the state system. Closing is not the answer. And we've got to work together as a team. Magnolia has their problems. There's things happening, and it has been a great school district. We're seeing the private schools come up, and there's a reason. But why not, and why can't we build, restructure a school system that is right and that is proper for the students? Thank you.
I'm sorry, Jerry?
Arrington.
Jerry?
Arrington.
Arrington, thank you, Mr. Arrington, appreciate that. I believe this gentleman will come to you next.
My name is Calloway. I'm the pastor at First Baptist Church in McNeil. I was born and raised in this area and been gone for about 8 years, and we moved back to the area to start pastor the church in McNeil last January. I had a son who was a senior in high school, and according to some of your knowledge and what you would tell me, you would look me in the eyes and tell me I was a fool for moving my student in the middle of his senior year. He graduated from Magnolia High School in May, and I have a junior at Magnolia High School right now. If he were here tonight, he would tell you some of the best things ever happened in his life. Some of his best friends are who he made in 4 months at Magnolia High School. My junior at Magnolia High School right now has great friends that he didn't have in Texas. And so it'd be wrong for me, Mr. Kimbrell, to tell you what to do with Stephen students, what to do with the Nevada students. I'm just here to speak for our community of McNeil and those students. And my recommendation is to the board is to please send our students to McNeil. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, to the State Board of Education, Board of Stevens School District, to all faculty, superintendents, and whoever, parents, grandparents, and all. I'm Margaret Story. I'm from Tennessee, Arkansas. I've worked with children all of my life. I'm a grandmother of 3 children here in the Stevens School District. My grandson, I would like for you to know, began school here less than 3 years ago without any public school education, just homeschool. But he's come here in Stevens, Arkansas, and on this past week, his name was on the honor roll with many more students from Stevens School District. I'm very proud of the faculty, the parents, the support. I've been coming regularly, as Reverend Porchia was saying, come out and visit and tell children you love them. These are my grands, but the children in his classroom, they call me grandmama
work there as a secretary. Those of you who are part of the school system, you know that if you've looked at a classified salary schedule, we make almost nothing. But I chose to stay with that school district. And my children now go to Harmony Grove School. And it's perfectly legal, it's perfectly fine. We're not doing anything inappropriate. One of my children is white, the other one is a minority. She is Asian. But even if I didn't work for Harmony Grove, I wouldn't have the option to send them anywhere because Stevens has not allowed us to have school choice. And I work as an assistant to the district treasurer. I know exactly how much it costs to run a school. I pay the bills. That's my job. I have a great interest in tax dollars. I care about the fact that my tax dollars from Columbia County are going elsewhere. I care about my property value, but I care about two things more than I care about anything. And those are my kids. And I care about your kids. I promise I do. The fact is, you have to think about money, whether you like it or not. It is going to cost too much to keep Stevens School District campus open than it will cost if you allow us to let us send our kids to good schools. Camden Fairview is a good school. Magnolia is a good school. It's a bigger school, but it's a good school. Give me the respect that you have been given, please. If you don't want to look at anything else, you can talk about the beta club and how many students are there. That's based on a grade point average. What you need to look at are the test scores. The test scores are showing that we are not getting the education in Stevens School that our kids can get elsewhere. And that's really what you guys need to be concerned about. I would love to be able to stay at home and be a stay-at-home parent, but I can't do that because I don't have the option to send my kids anywhere else. This is it. This is all my options are, is to work at Harmony Grove and drive 40 miles one way or to send them here. And I do not believe the test scores for this school district are good enough for me to send my kids here.
Can we please, can other people express their opinions and we've been quietly allowing them to do that?
Thank you.
Please.
So I asked the Board of Education, I asked you, Dr. Kimbrell, on behalf of the children in my area, whether it's Stevens, McNeil, whatever, if you will make the decision to please allow our children to go to schools who have higher test scores that are closer to our home.
The young lady over here. Y'all coming together? Yes.
Nevada, or anywhere else, I would not accomplish anything. I have cousins that come here from Magnolia last year. Their grades, they were not even at a D average, and their grades, they are on honor roll this year. They are on honor roll. And when I was at Stevens and they were at Magnolia, I would go to their house sometimes, and they were like, oh, we haven't even discussed that kind of stuff at our school. We're not even on that. Y'all are far past us. I had to tutor her on her work, and she was from Magnolia School. And then her grade came up because of my tutoring from Stevens. I feel like any other somewhere else, we will not get the education, the attention, or anything else that we need. And that's why our school should stay open. And you should listen more to the students' opinions and not the parents' opinions, because we matter more than anybody.
You go next. Yes, sir. Why don't you come on, sir?
Hello, everybody. I'm Marjie Blair. I graduated from Waldo High School. I now live north of McNeil, and the McNeil used to be a school district. I'm glad to see Glenn Babb. I played basketball against him back when we was in high school. I really hate to see the schools break up in small schools. We had such a great time back in there with Glenn. Played each other basketball, gyms were packed full, schools graduated a lot of really good kids with good educations. I know in my class, the 4 basketball players, one of them floated up 747. No one was a doctor, Dr. John Williamson, who's passed away now. Another one was a executive with an oil company, who's retired, and now I'm retired now. What I'm getting at, our world's changing. It's not staying the same. McNeil, Waldo, and Stephen will never be the same again. Whether you like it or not, it's going to change. We got to change with it. Our kids now are all, it's talking about a while ago, that they couldn't adjust. You can get an example of my kids. I lived in Waldo, the school system was going down. I could see it. So I sold my business and moved to Hope to have a better school system. Okay? The kids moved in there and filled in. One became a major at. Both of them graduated. One played football. My daughter got a doctorate degree in audiology. My son's a school teacher in Jesseville, Arkansas. And I sure didn't see any that affected him very well. If your kids go to small school now and it's not really being educated right, what's going to happen when they go to college? They're going to have to adjust when they go to college. They're going to have a big attendance there. It's not going to be just 150, 300 kids. You're going to have to adjust. Life is a continuing adjustment. And you have to learn how to adjust to it. So, and for myself, that was a mistake McNeil ever coming here. We should have went to McNeil to start with. This probably wouldn't have been our problem. But we did. So now we got to make a change. We need to make a change for the best. That's where our kids go to McNeil kids go to Stevens. I mean, go to McNeil. McNeil gets a bigger career. You got more things to study. You got more things to do. McNeil needs to go to McNeil. That's as simple as that. Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Charles Johnson. I'm from McNeil, Arkansas, and I'm proud to be from McNeil, Arkansas. But also, I help kin people here in Stevens, Arkansas. How many years ago when we first talked about coming to Stevens, I was all for that. I'd just like to say that since we came, I don't complain about everything that's happened. That doesn't matter anymore. The thing of this, we went to a small school. I finished with an A average. I have a daughter here that she's smarter than I am. She's been making A's since she's been in the 3rd grade, I believe. All A's. And to me, that don't matter. But it's one don't like in life. So a lot of things happen in life. We could cry about it all day and all night, but it's not going to change anything. After all, it's God who's in control. And the Word of God tells us that we're supposed to obey the authority. We give them a chance to do something. We can cry more about it all we want to. They didn't do it, so God has given authority for somebody to do that. So let's accept what authority is given us and what He will give us.
Thank you. I do want to remind everyone that the decision that will be made about Stevens and the students that are at Stevens will be left in the hands of the state board. That state board meeting will be in April, I believe, Jeremy, that's April the 10th. April 10th, there will be a hearing, and they will accept testimony. There you'll have to sign up, so if you'll let us know that you want to speak, that will occur. We will have a recommendation based upon input from what we've gotten tonight, also from information that we gather about school performance, where students live. We take all those things into consideration. It's phenomenal to see this many people come out and care about what happens to children. I can tell you, I've been in other communities, in other school districts, that this didn't happen. And the unfortunate thing is, and I've heard it time and time again, the unfortunate thing is many times it comes to something of this nature, this big, before we get mobilized. And I know all across the state of Arkansas, as I've mentioned, our communities continue in rural Arkansas to become more rural. The change is occurring. Sometimes we don't like change. Sometimes we don't appreciate change. But I do know that what these young ladies who spoke so well tonight and are so passionate about what they have bright futures. They're going to be okay. They're going to do well. Given an opportunity, they will do well. We'll have to make a decision. The state board will have to make a decision by law. You know, the other day I had a career decision to make about what I was going to do with my future. I was talking to a friend of mine, a colleague, someone that I talked to quite a bit. And he said, whatever decision you make about what you do with your future will be the right decision. Because you will make it the right decision. Now, whatever decision the state board makes, you may not think is the right decision. But I will tell you, it's the people in this room, it's the adults and the students, but primarily it's the example set by adults that will determine whether that decision was a good decision or not. So the decision that we make as a state and that state board makes, whatever it may be, and I wouldn't venture to guess what it's going to be. I've never tried to second guess that board. But I won't give you any false hope to tell you that there's anything I can do. Sir, there's not. I don't have an administrative option except to go to the state board and say, here are your options, and this is our recommendation. And they can make that determination. I don't have the option of keeping Stevens as it is today. But whatever decision is made, it'll be the right decision if we decide to make it the right decision. So I appreciate all the comments and the feedback. If you have additional comments or ideas, again, I don't want hateful emails. I don't want to discuss and debate the law. I have to do that with legislators all the time. But I will take ideas. My email address is very easy to find on the Arkansas Department of Education's website. If you didn't feel comfortable getting up and saying how you feel, please understand that you can find me on the Arkansas Department of Education's website. You can send me an email with your ideas and your thoughts. Granted, I get a lot. I may not can respond to each and every one, but I will take any ideas if you didn't feel comfortable standing up and saying, this is how I feel about what the future could be, what an option could be. There's not a lot of options, but we're going to try to make the decision that is focused clearly on students, not on adults. So again, I want to say first, thank you for first the the school board for allowing us to host this meeting here and to have this meeting here. They didn't have to let the Department of Education come. I called Ms. Huey and asked if we could, and she said, yes, we would be more than happy to host that and allow the people of our community and other communities to voice their ideas. The school board could have told her, no, we don't want the State Department in our building anymore. But they didn't. They said, sure. So we appreciate the board, Chairman Brown, thank you for allowing us to come and be a part of it tonight, to hear your thoughts, to hear the passion you have for kids. I hope you'll carry that as far as you can carry it. It's not easy, and you know that. And it won't be a decision that everyone in this room agrees with. And it may not even be the decision that we as a staff agree with. I can tell you I grew up in a small community. I graduated in a class of less than 100. I bring with me people and work with people who come from small schools. We understand small schools. I've worked in big schools, small schools. Mr. Wood, my deputy, has worked in small schools and then went and worked in Little Rock and then went to a middle-sized school. We all have had experiences. The one thing that we all bring and we all know are the most resilient resource we have. The most resilient resource we have are our children. The most important resource we have is our children. I wouldn't be doing this today if it wasn't for children. I promise you. This is what my life's about, and this is what I do. So trust that the decision that we make will be in the best interest of all kids down the path. But help us make that the right decision by your attitudes and your actions thereafter. I appreciate again Ms. Huey and the board for letting us do this. We wish you safe travels home. And as I've heard many times tonight, God bless all of you. Thank
Most of y'all here probably know who I am. And Porchia is here in Spalding. I played over on the hill with Porchia. And Mr. Blair, I know exactly how old you are. I graduated in 1959 also. You're 73 years old. I was 73 years old 2 days ago. And I graduated from Stevens High School. And I had a hard time. I was married when I finished the school and had a child. When I went to school, and I graduated from Washington Baptist University, at the top of the class, and Mr. Carey, I also graduated with Dr. John Williamson. I was a pallbearer at his funeral. And John Williamson was a great man, and I loved him to pieces. John Williamson wouldn't say what you said tonight. John Williamson would say, I want to go to Waldo, Arkansas, because John Williamson was the top of his class over there. I was at the hot head of my class here, and there's no way that larger schools. You said, sir, a while ago, you graduated from small school, and I heard you say close to 100. 27 in my graduating class. That class right there, I didn't know what an Erlenmeyer class or pipette or anything was, but I took chemistry and physics, and I had good teachers, and they taught me well. But when I went to Washington Baptist, I was there with Pulaski or Central, where they had hundreds in their class. I was ahead of every one of them. They'd never beat me in anything they did, because I learned it right here in Stevens, Arkansas. And I'm telling you, your large schools are not the best for education. Your small schools are better for education. And I promise you, I don't know what's making the decision up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and if you have a lot to do with it, sir, I think it's got to do with the dollar bill, is what it's got to do with, more than anything. And it's not about the education of the student as much as where the government is going to push money around.